Tonight on KGW News, a massive blaze sends workers in Longview scrambling.
Yeah, we had to evacuate everybody, move cars, big embers are flying everywhere.
Plus, state lawmakers trying to hash out a transportation funding plan and save jobs met with a feedback onslaught.
Oregon's transportation infrastructure, it is at a breaking point.
It is up to the legislature to find a solution without raising our taxes.
Then he's the diver who wouldn't give up when it came to solving a family's 6+ decade-old disappearance.
I feel good that this is a win, but it's a win in comparison to the sadness of what happened.
And a look at the resume of the new GM just tapped to build Portland's WNBA franchise. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin with state lawmakers back to work tonight, trying to tackle a major transportation funding problem they failed to solve in this year's regular session. And this evening, they got an earful from local leaders and concerned citizens. Ellen McCarty shows us what's at stake at the state capitol.
Dozens of people made the trip to Salem Monday afternoon for the public hearing, with even more signing up to testify virtually just days ahead of the special session.
Fundamentally, not approving this bill jeopardizes more than just ODOT. It jeopardizes those people that are taking care of the roads in your home communities.
Before lawmakers take another shot at passing the transportation funding package, Oregonians weighed in.
We have no doubt you'll figure this out so we can, preserve not just our roads, but the jobs of those who preserve them.
Several in person arguing in favor of Governor Kotek's proposal to avoid layoffs and cuts to service and bring in around $5.8 billion over 10 years to fund road maintenance and transit agencies. Supporters acknowledging, too, that this package is a short-term fix.
It's a Band-Aid for now, but again, don't let good be the enemy of perfect. Let's put the Band-Aid on, and then we can move forward, find different programs, different systems to provide the long-term solutions that we need.
The governor sharing with KGW this message.
What I can say to every Oregonian, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, what we're going to do is make sure that your roads, your bridges are safe and maintained no matter what time of the year it is, and that's why that package has to pass.
Many, however, wrote in against it, with a few voicing that opposition to the committee.
ODOT doesn't need another consultant report. It needs accountability, discipline, and maybe a calculator that works.
Frustrated with proposed increases, like the gas tax by 6 cents, registration fees by $42, and title fees by $139.
We work really hard. I pay my taxes. I have to budget myself. I believe that the government needs to budget themselves.
House Republican leader Christine Drazen says raising taxes isn't the answer to this crisis.
And we have to acknowledge that. We can't, as policymakers, walk around and say, listen, state government is all that matters. And these folks, y'all just need to take it. It's not fair to them. It's not the only way to solve this problem.
I'm told this special legislative session will last about 6 days, beginning on Friday. In Salem, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Well, 6 days, that's some news there. Developing tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what started this large fire in an industrial area in Longview. Reports coming in just before 4 from a warehouse that belongs to Patriot Rail's Columbia and Cowlitz Railway. Crews are called in from multiple agencies to douse the flames from the outside. We talked to the worker who recorded this incredible video right after that fire broke out.
And then within, a minute, the roof was on fire. Right away, we started directing drivers away. We're shouting like, go, pull away from the doors. And man, that whole place lit up like immediately.
Wow, turns out they have protocols on site, and workers there are trained to jump in and start fighting the fire with hoses and fire extinguishers. Crews got the fire contained after a couple of hours, but new photos tonight show the building was destroyed. There are luckily no reports of injuries. All right, let's take a live look over downtown Portland tonight, where it is still warm outside, but the heat wave has finally passed. Chief Meteorologist Matt Stefano here with a first look at your weather impact forecast. Hey there, Matt.
Hey, David. Yeah, we stayed below 90 degrees today for the first time in 4 days, basically. 88 was our high temperature, and it may not be because of why you normally think this happens with the cooler air coming in from the coast. Maybe the 90s in Salem and Corvallis and down the valley. But look at Central Oregon, only in the 70s. They had thick cloud cover there, showers and thunderstorms, and we were the recipient of some of those clouds, and that's what kept us below 90 for the first time since last Thursday, basically. Remember, we were 102 Friday, 100 on Saturday, 95 yesterday. Our second stretch of 3 days in a row of over 90 degrees of the year. Last year we had 4 such stretches. Last time we didn't have a stretch of 3 90-degree days back in 2020. The total number of 99-degree days we've had this year has been 5. Last year, a record 8 of those. Outside right now, it is 79, so a couple degrees cooler than the same time last night. Look, some showers started to make their way into Salem today. We got a shot of that again a couple more times later on this week. You can see the thunderstorms in southern Oregon there, hence the fire weather warning for that part of the state. So another very warm night tonight. Mountain showers, thunderstorms possible again tomorrow and Wednesday, and we may even see some on Saturday. But the good news is we may be around 90 tomorrow, but not any higher than that. David?
Yeah, nice not to see any red on the board. Thanks, Matt. Well, meanwhile, we have learned of 2 suspected heat-related deaths from just this weekend. Officials say a 55-year-old woman died yesterday in Clackamas County. That follows the Saturday death of a 56-year-old man in Multnomah County. It could take months for medical examiners to confirm those deaths are heat-related. Throughout our region over the past 4 days, about 100 people also went to the ER for heat-related illnesses. Well, thankfully, temperatures will be a little cooler tomorrow, as Matt mentioned, but for many students, it'll be the first day of school. Portland Public Schools says it'll work to mitigate any heat with fans, ventilation, and by opening windows in the morning hours. Vancouver Public Schools plan to move students to cooler areas if needed, and the Beaverton School District is telling kids to dress for the heat. None have decided to release students early at this point, like the Estacada School District did today. Parents there had some mixed thoughts.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I think they have to err on the safety of the kid.
Well, it's a little crazy, first off, since it's only the first day of school, but it really doesn't seem like it's that hot out.
Estacada also plans to release students early tomorrow. If any other districts add an early release, of course, we'll be sure to let you know on KGW News at sunrise. New tonight, a firefighter from Kaiser has died while battling a Montana wildfire. Ruben Gonzalez Romero died of a medical emergency while fighting the Bivens Creek fire. Gonzalez Romero had more than 20 years of experience as a wildland firefighter and served mostly as a sawyer who cuts brush and trees. He was a contractor with TJ Forestry, which called him a dedicated firefighter who loved his job and brought joy and wisdom to every crew he worked on. They add, he will be dearly missed. Okay, speaking of wildfires, to get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, crews are starting to get containment on the largest fire burning in Oregon right now. That is the Flat Fire northeast of Sisters, which has burned 22,000 acres. It is now 7% contained. At least 4 homes have been destroyed. 1,200 firefighters are working on this one, and reports some rain is helping to dampen the fire. Some evacuation levels in Jefferson County have been lowered tonight, though many people are still in the level 3 go now zone. The FBI has closed down a Central Washington campground near Leavenworth where 3 young girls were found dead. Authorities are still trying to find their father, Travis Decker, who they believe killed them. Officials now say they're doing a thorough search of the grounds for any sign of him.
Looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically that you found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Well, the campground is set to reopen tomorrow evening unless investigators need more time. In Vancouver, some Evergreen School District staff plan to hit the picket lines at 8:30 in the morning. Last week, paraeducators, bus drivers, and others voted to strike after their union and the district could not reach a deal on a new contract. The district decided to postpone the first day of school by a week to give them more time to negotiate. Officials tell us there was a mediation session today with several more planned for later this week. We'll keep you posted. All right, that was the sound neighbors near a North Portland intersection heard Saturday night as street racers did donuts and burnouts for more than half an hour. It's just one place where racers took over Portland roads this weekend. Police said they responded to several so-called takeovers, but could not get to all of the activity, citing limited intel and not enough officers.
That we hear that you want us to address this. We are we are trying to address this with the best intelligence we have. We will continue to go out and allocate resources to this.
When police confronted racers Sunday night, they say the crowd threw projectiles and mortars at officers. Over the course of the weekend, police arrested 6 people and towed 16 cars. At the White House, President Donald Trump signed a new executive order today intended to expand the military's role in domestic law enforcement. And with the National Guard now patrolling in the nation's capital, the president is now threatening to send troops to Chicago as Democratic leaders there push back. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest.
The next city on the list for federal takeover, according to President Trump, it's Chicago.
I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago is a killing field right now.
Trump claims that crime is up in Chicago despite city statistics showing that violent crime is down by double digits in Chicago. But Trump says locals want his involvement.
It needs to happen. It's no law and order.
I mean, if you got the National Guard right there, are you going to rob somebody right there in front of the National Guards? No, you're not.
Democratic lawmakers in Illinois are pushing back.
As the mayor of this city, I can tell you that Chicagoans are not calling for a military occupation. They are calling for the same thing that we've been calling for some time, and that's investment.
It's unclear how many troops Trump might send and when. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says they are being targeted because they're a blue city and a blue state. And at a news conference on Monday said very directly, do not come to Chicago.
This is about the President of the United States and his complicit lackey, Stephen Miller, searching for ways to lay the groundwork to circumvent our democracy, militarize our cities, and end elections. There is no emergency in Chicago that calls for armed military intervention.
Pritzker says if Trump deploys National Guard members to Illinois, they'll sue. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Well, meanwhile, President Trump has fired one of the 7 Federal Reserve governors, an unprecedented move that will likely end up in court. The president posting the news on Truth Social, accusing Lisa Cook of mortgage fraud by naming 2 different properties allegedly as her primary residence at the same time. Presidents can only remove Fed officials, you see, for cause and not because of differences over interest rate policies. For example, Cook said Monday night that she would not step down. She also said she has not been charged with a crime. If her firing holds, Trump will be able to nominate Cook's replacement and reshape the Fed's Board of Governors for years to come.